Welcome to highlights of the 17th round of the FDC. This was an 18-minute qualifying session leading to a 25% race at Suzuka. I don't think the pole lap was recorded, but it was the Almighty going fastest again, taking his second pole in a row, and his fourth pole of the championship, half a second ahead of Mido, TJD and Wondorian. The Almighty had spun out of the hairpin. It's difficult getting the power down there. I usually short shift and that seems to help. I must have been distracted again as I ran into the gravel. I can find it difficult blocking things out and focusing on the track. At the end of qualifying, it looked like Mido was trying to reach the line for one last hot lap, but cutting the last corner probably invalidated his next lap, so his session was over. After some practice and having experience with Suzuka, I qualified in the middle of the pack, which was better than my previous round. Suzuka is one of the more popular races on the calendar. I don't know if that's why a lot of the drivers qualified in the soft tyre, but I'm certainly happy with the track and felt confident being on the soft tyre and trying to fight at the front. To the race start, and Mido took the lead. There would be three cars side by side at turn 1, and Fragweiser in the sandwich ended up sideways. On board with HD Gamer, and you can see another angle of the incident. It looks like both he and Italus, starting on the medium tyre, were cautious not to take any wing damage. Mido ended up in the wall, losing a front wing. As far as I know, his car spun, and no doubt it was a no-grip spin where you can't save the car. Alex also recorded his view, and I don't think he anticipated that I'd brake a little early. I tend to brake a bit early for safety, and then of course he ended up with Fragweiser's car in front of him. And Darrow's car ran wide at turn 7. And the last onboard view, which was yours truly, the recording misses the lights, and you see me give a little press of the brakes for safety, not too hard, not too long, but unfortunately that still led to damage for Alex. You can see a bit clearer what happened to Mido. So I was running in 5th and just trying to handle all the sweeping corners in the turbulent air. I hadn't been feeling up to practicing with a wheel, so I had done some practice with a USB Xbox 360 controller, and I used that to find a setup and warm up to the track, although I was still more experienced and faster with a wheel. So this was my first race with a Thrustmaster TSPC wheel. On lap 2 my car had a spicy moment out of turn 9. Alex pitted on the end of lap 2 for mediums and a new front wing. I believe Darrow had a terminal crash on lap 3, but I might be mistaken. I came in for my pit stop at the end of lap 6 and accidentally cut my recording while in the pits. Alex on his new front wing had the misfortune of a no-grip spin. After touching the curb he was a passenger. His mandatory pit stop was out of the way, so he could finish the race like that, but it would have been really slow. You can see how much his car was understeering at that point. He came back into the pits and went onto the soft tyre, and I think that was the best thing he could have done. He'd certainly recover a little bit of time being back on a new set of soft tyres. Spellman was returning to the track on lap 8, which meant I was now running in 3rd. If I could hold on to that for the last few laps then I'd be on the podium, but I'd been sabotaged by Thrustmaster. My new wheel had come loose, so I had to hold it in place while trying to turn it at the same time. I nearly spun because of that at the corners. The quick release system on the wheel had unscrewed itself, probably just from me turning the wheel. But while I was on a straight I managed to tighten it back up, and by some miracle I was still in 3rd. I had no spare fuel left and Spellman was right behind me. A podium finish for me was looking possible, but unlikely. Alex stepped onto the curb again and had another no-grip spin. I think it's the curb that triggers it. The spin is so mild at first that it's difficult to even notice that the grip is gone, but when it's gone your car just spirals. To me the physics doesn't feel right, as I had the same thing at Austria, and I just wish it was possible to catch the car as it starts spinning. So Alex pitted for another front wing, and when the pit crew changed his tyres, I presume that was for a better set of softs, but knowing this game, they probably put a more worn set of softs on his car by that point. Back to the battle between me and Spellman, I was almost completely out of fuel. He caught me at 130R, but being the gentleman racer he is, he backed out for safety. I'd crossed the line in third just as my car was entering fuel saving mode. Mastermind was close, finishing a couple of seconds behind us. Alex crossed the line a lap down in 10th, and took I think a well-earned championship point for his perseverance. It sounds like Wondorian might have been out of fuel at the end and was just overtaken by Italus at the line. I got Alex's livery wrong in the fastest lap visualization. His car is of course now green, and he went second fastest behind Wondorian. So our race winner was the Almighty, and his fourth win put him second in the standings, gaining 21 points against the championship leader. TJD matching his best result took another second place. I took only my third podium, and it was at this point I started spending time practicing before the races, rather than just work on these highlight videos. So the videos would be a bit delayed, but I felt like there was a lot of competition and I wanted to be more involved in that, and that meant spending some time practicing. Meistermido ended up 4th because of Spillman's automatic time penalty in 5th. From my notes, Italus had a collision with Fragweiser, but didn't take the position, and as far as I know, Fragweiser's car was not damaged, so Fragweiser and Italus 6th and 7th. Our championship leader Wondorian had spun, pitting on both laps 5 and 6, and of course took the fastest lap as we saw in the visualization. 8th for him was a dent in his championship lead, but he was still 38 points ahead. HD Gamer finished 9th, and those 3 pit stops for Alex in 10th. Darrow, I believe, with a terminal crash on one of the early laps. There was an update to the game, and Keg had a corrupt cutscene file, so he had to re-download the entire game and miss the race, but I appreciate that he attempted to join us. And Lobphil only had time for some of the sessions, so he decided to back out. So that was our 25% race at Japan. We have 4 rounds remaining, so I hope you'll join us for the next one at Mexico. So we'll see you then.